Those were not seconds. I think lies.
All right, sir, it's all yours.
Alrighty. So I'm doing my presentation on Kevin Poulsen. The FBI dubbed him the Hannibal Lecter of computer crime. Basically, who he is this random dude from the 80s. Him and a bunch of his buddies, before hacking was a thing, they got into Pacific Bell's computer systems and actually figured out literally how everything worked from a wireless connection, or not a wireless connection, what's the word? Where you access it and you're connected via the internet. Anybody? Remote. There's the word. I'm trying to think of how they worded it in the paper that I read. He essentially put wiretaps on different celebrities. He hacked into the like their database of known like mob bosses and things like that, and wiretapped them. Like he just did all kinds of different things like this, like just finding out stuff he wasn't supposed to. He is known for a multitude of things, but what put him on the map was using his skills as a hacker to gain access to the FBI's secure network. That's actually where he'd been doing it for years, but they actually started noticing him when he was breaking into their network. By breaking into their network, he found out specific mob bosses' like locations and what they had on them as far as evidence, wiretapping them himself, things like that. What he's most known for is his hack of Kiss FM's 25 phone lines. They had the 101st or 102nd caller would win a Porsche, or win a Hawaiian vacation, or win $20,000, I think it was. In doing, him and two of his buddies, when the song Kiss came on their radio station, they literally shut everything down. And they counted and called and called and called and called and called. And they ended up winning 2 Porsches. It's actually this Porsche right here. 2 Hawaiian vacations and $20,000. And they did this in 1988. He actually did this while he was on the run from the FBI. And if the amount the car would be sold for then was $27,000. So if you think of that versus now, that's like $200,000 roughly by how our money works now. After a year of being on the run, the television program Unsolved Mysteries aired with a segment of him. However, when the number popped up, like, I don't know if any of you guys remember this, when the segment was over, they were like, if you have any information on this person, call this number. He said no. He shut it down and made it so everyone who tried to call actually got a dead signal. The actual location where he was caught, it doesn't say in anything, but it was a grocery store that he frequented. The people in the store recognized him from the segment on Unsolved Mysteries, and the stock boys tackled him, and like you've seen him, he's not this massive guy, so like they tackled him, and the manager called the FBI because they had seen him there before, and they were doing like a keep an eye out for this guy type of thing. What he does now is he works for Wired. I don't know if it's called like an internet news. I looked at the site and I still can't figure it out. They do security news and tech news, essentially, and like their opinions on stuff. Yeah, he does that too. He wrote a book called Kingpin, the takeover of $1 million industry overnight, or something like that. But I didn't actually read it, so I didn't want to be like, yes, this is important. But he was sentenced to 5 years, and he was the first person to actually serve out a internet ban for 3 years after his sentencing. There was another guy who was given one before him, but he didn't get out before Poulsen did, because what he did was like fraud and all kinds of other stuff. So he just broke into stuff he shouldn't have. When his ban was lifted, he began working on the other side of the law. I put line for some reason. Anyway, he began working for the internet-based technology news site Wired. He has also done work to aid the authorities by identifying 744 sexual predators of the fallen giant MySpace. To further his trying to redeem himself, if you will, he actually made the code for that script very public. Like he advertised it on Wired and through other various news sites to say, hey, look, this is what I did. He's also working for journalists to make something called Secure Drop, which is essentially a way for, God, I can't think of any words. Journalists have these people who source. There's the word. It's basically a way for journalists and sources to actually communicate without any threat. Like, it's a completely secure way for them to talk. So, are there any questions?
What was the name of the book you mentioned?
It's Kingpin,
Kingpin.
a billion dollar industry taken over overnight.
Because I think there was a documentary.
From what I understood, it's kind of like a parallel to his life. Like, the guy in it is a hacker called Iceman, or Max Brown, I think is the name. I don't know if it's fiction or nonfiction, because after just reading that it's like a parallel to his life, I was like, okay, like, it's not really relevant. But it basically, like, he worked for Stanford's technology department. And at that time, that's when he started hacking into the FBI and wiretapping, like, Marilyn Monroe and things like that. So, well, I guess not Marilyn Monroe, but.
Good job, Jimmy. Excellent. Yeah, Wired's actually pretty good. Wired online services. They also have Wired magazine that's put out every month. It's a good source.